Hi chaps, SimOP here from Beard, Biceps and Batchat. Today I'm bringing you the next instalment in the road to tier 10 for the M48 Patton, and we've worked our way up to the T20. Now, the T20 itself is a bit of a different beast from the E8 or the Easy 8, the previous tank of the line that I chose to go down rather than the E2 Jumbo. As you can see, it's quite pacey in straight lines, but it's not got great acceleration, is the best way to describe it. It's a tank that's very sort of average on all fronts. There's nothing overly great about it. The view range is good for its tier. The penetration is good for its tier. There's nothing particularly bad about this tank. It's just quite average. So to really make the most of it, you really have to force the red team tanks into situations where they don't excel. So circling TDs, circling heavies, using your view range, catching heavies in the open, that sort of thing. Just so your averageness, your jack of all trades, just applies, and that's where you sort of really benefit with this tank. So we've spotted this little cheeky chap, there's VK in the open. He's been taken apart in short order. Quite happy to get the track damage there. I know we've got Baby on. Baby got track ops running at the moment. So I was quite happy just to take the tracking shot. Oh, what a terrible miss. So our team's deployed quite interestingly. You generally don't see this that much. So we've pushed down the 1-2 line and left the AB line fairly open. So what that means for us is we have to be very aggressive. We have to win this flank. Double back if the red team has pushed down the AB flank or the left-hand flank. Or continue on if we manage to catch the red team or if they double back. So at the moment what I'm trying to do is just to clear the left hand side so there's no tanks on the left hand ridge that can take shots at me as I'm pushing. I'm using the right hand ridge as cover just to approach this T29. We fluff our shot. Again, I'm going to just use this hill for leverage just to get myself some extra depression. I notice there's a couple of cheeky chaps that must be by their cap just taking shots at me. I let this guy run over first so the T29 faces towards him. A little bit cheap potentially, but I wanted him to shoot, put a shot into him so he wasn't facing me, so I can mount the ridge, put a shot into him. Unfortunately I've auto-aimed at that point. On the T29 when you're auto-aiming, because the turret's so big, it can just aim at the turret and go into the turret, which is absolutely pointless. I'm going to bounce off it 9 times out of 10. That shot landed just below the turret into the gun mantlet. But what we're going to look to do here is again just use our averageness to put the T29 in a position which he isn't very good in, which is being circled to death. He's got too aggressive, he's been isolated, so I'm just going to put a shot straight into his rear, see if I can set his engine on fire. He takes out one of the guys. I move out to the other side, just wait for his traverse to see if it'll catch up with me. I know it can't, so I just take my time to place the shot into the side and make sure the tracks don't swallow it. So we take the T29 out for the first kill, and we've got nothing holding up our advance. We've lost a fair amount of tanks at this point. We might just be one behind the red team. So what I want to do is carry on pushing just to spot where the rest of the red team is. And look at that, they are all camping base. We've got Tiger 131s, Tiger 1s, T150s, we've got TDs up there. All those boys camping base. Now the problem with that is I'm just going to sit here, take all the spotted damage, use my superior view range, keep them lit up. Even if they light me up, my mantlet's okay on this tank, and the other guys further back on my team are just going to sink shots into them. As you can see, they're blowing up left, right and centre. The T150 just isn't much threat, so I put the shot into the Tiger. Once you get a Tiger side on, it's fairly easy to ammo rack it. Obviously I didn't with that shot. That T150's got a little bit lucky hitting me there. Put one into the tracks out. He's really well angled, so on normal shots I'm potentially just going to bounce off the front of him. I could reposition, but what I want to do is just to keep this ridge line as my hard cover to keep them lit up. Now the Tiger 131 is pushing me. There's no point me staying and trading with the Tiger. He completely out DPMs me. So what I want to do is push back to cover and look to set up a crossfire with the other greens. Now this guy's putting shots into him, So I'm just going to wait for him to come, not overexpose myself. He's isolated, but it's a very good tier 7 tank, probably the best tier 7 tank. So the last thing I want to do is go head to head or get isolated myself. So I'm just going to wait for him to carry on pushing until he stops, assess the situation and decide the best time to push. My spot's dropped off, so now I can just see where he is, what he's doing, put the shot into him. He's taking his shot. T151 fires the shot at me. I just sneak behind him, use the ridgeline as cover, pop up when I feel I've gone far enough away where he thinks I'm no longer a threat, and the spot drops up. There we go, catch him right in the back, fluff our first shot. But I'm feeling pretty safe at this point, minus the shot, bloody hell. So we pop back up, put the shot into the engine. Again, I was trying to get a little bit lucky, see if I set him on fire. But we've got enough guys around us where I don't really need to deal that Tiger 1-3-1 anymore. What I need to deal with now is that cheeky little T150 that's been throwing shots into me. He's lost interest in me once I've dropped off his spot, so we've switched to premium. Initially that was the Tiger 1-3-1. I just wanted to make sure I got my shots in. Shouldn't really be needed for a tier 6 heavy, even a well angled one. Again, I'm using premium side onto a Tiger. I will be judged. I want to say it was, I just didn't want to switch, but who knows. But overall, not a bad little game. Really enjoying this line so far. So it's been a bit of a learning curve dealing with very average tanks. Or well, jack of all trade tanks, I should say. So we ended up with about 5k combined in total. Not too bad. I hope you're enjoying the content. Chaps, please like and